Today we will discuss about a concept called files. Now, what is a file? Now, when I say that if I am working for Bank of America, the Bank of America is a company. Suppose Bank of America's business is being handled by IBM. So I am an employee of IBM. So this Bank of America project has come to IBM. That project is divided into small parts, and each part is called an application. Each application consists of some 5 to 7 people, 10 to 15 people based on the complexity of the application. Now, Bank of America, for example, it has many departments. For example, it has credit card, debit card, KYC department, loans department, onboarding department, ratings department. It has mutual fund department. So it has all those different departments. I'm just giving an example. So just imagine that for each department there's an application. There's a team who handles the business. Now, if I'm part of the credit card team, so my application handles the Bank of America credit card department. Now, what happens in a credit card department? People have credit card, so people have premiums to pay. People have defaulted. Then people have applied for new credit card. People have applied to close the credit card. People's credit amount that the due date has passed. It has bounced. Then KYC is pending. Then new customers have joined. Customers' background verification is done. All these things. So there are many things which come under one credit card department. So for example, our team has five people, three developers, one tester, one BA, business analyst, and there'll be one manager. Okay, so manager is not counted in the team, for example. Now, out of the three developers, one is probably a 8 plus, one is 3 4 plus, one is a fresher, one tester is there, one business analyst. Now, when I joined this project, for example, there were two developers. I have joined recently. This September 1st, I joined this project. Now, after I joined this project, what is my roles and responsibility in this project? What will I do? So my roles and responsibility will be to contribute to this project so that it maintains the credit card details of this Bank of America company. Okay. Now, how do we maintain on a broader level when we say that a service provider always maintains the business of a client? Now, how does it maintain? What is this thing called maintenance? How do we maintain? So maintenance means their data is being stored properly, and whatever is asked to process is processed. Whatever is asked as per business rules to reject or ignore is rejected or ignored. Now, in this maintenance process, there is a concept called file which will come. Because if I'm a developer in this project, my roles and responsibility will be to monitor, for example, the daily batch process. Now, on a daily basis, data will come from the client side, and that data has to be stored in our tables. If you go to SBI, so SBI has different counters. In one counter is for withdrawal of money, one counter is for deposit, one counter is for KYC update, one counter is for loan, one is mutual fund. So for each counter, there will be one person, and that person also, suppose they will go away, some other person will come. So there's a team who is working. Now each and every counter at the end of the day, when the bank closes at 3 o'clock, they will close the shutter and they will work behind the closed doors, and they will count everything, do all the tally, the whatever transaction has gone on throughout the day is correct or not. The amount of money that is showing, the amount of money that they have received, whatever is showing in their system is what they have actually received or not. So that count, whatever money is showing in the system that they have, people have withdrawn and they have given to people, is exactly the same amount of money that has gone from the bank or not. These kind of things they will do. They will, that is called tallying. Okay, so till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they'll do these things. Then only they'll go home, because day-to-day tasks. So today's task they cannot keep pending for tomorrow. Tomorrow's task they cannot do day after tomorrow. Today's task has to be done today only. Similarly, these banks, these are also banks, Bank of America, but these are industrial banks. They are located in many countries, okay, and many locations, many millions of customers are there. So this is a huge level thing. So to handle their business, obviously a technology is required, and the data on a daily basis, the transaction that has gone on. Now, each and everything is a transaction. If someone has opened a credit card account, that is going to be a transaction. If someone has withdrawn money, that's a transaction. If someone has KYC has failed that and he has updated, that is a transaction. If someone's due date has passed, that will also be a transaction. Everything is a transaction. So every detail throughout the day is collected. So there'll be people responsible, some applications will be responsible, some data warehouse, the data hub, something will be there who will be responsible to get the data. They will get data from some third party agency or some sources. They'll get the data and they'll distribute the data. So when they distribute the data, they'll distribute the data to your application, all the credit card related data in the form of files. Similarly, they will distribute debit card related data to some other application who is responsible to manage their business, right? So in the form of files, that is called files, mainframe files. Now this file concept will be there in each and every technology. In mainframe, we have two types of files. So first of all, let us discuss PS files. So I think you have heard. So PS file is called physical sequential file. Now what is a physical sequential file? If you have a folder, image folder in your on your in your laptop, okay, image folder, and there are images inside it. You open the folder and you see photos, images. So similar to that PS file, if you open it, you will see records. What kind of records? Records related to your application. It may be employment record, it may be accounts records, it may be personal information, it may be client customers details, it can be anything but related to your project, the business, related to the business. Open the file, see the data. So data may be like this. Name will be there first, customer names, then suppose date of joining, company name, I mean, so uh, like address, business start date, this kind of details you may get. This is an example. This is called a PS file. Now, this PS file, how many regions do we have? Generally, we have dev, we have testing, we have UAT, we have production. These four regions we have. Now, in some projects, it is testing is called system testing, development is called testing. So names will differ, but broadly we have these three or four environments. Now, these PS files will come in production and UAT automatically. So this will be sent by other different applications. Why? So only when we will receive the data from a source, then only our jobs and will execute the COBOL DB2 programs, and then only the files will be processed and the data will be loaded, correct? If we don't receive the data only, what is the point of running the programs? What will the programs do if there is no input? So these files will come to UAT and production automatically. But in dev and testing, we are not going to receive any file. If we have to do any testing in dev or testing region, we have to create the PS files by ourselves, write some mock data, or we can transfer some files which are already there in UAT and production to dev environment and test. Clear? Now, naming convention. What is the naming convention of a PS file? You imagine your application name is ABC, short form. It is something, it has suppose the short form of your application name is ABC. So most likely your file name in prod will be like this, ABC dot. It will start with ABC, something ABC 0000. I will tell you what that is. Most likely it will be like this. Now ABC is the qualifier. This is the name of the application. Then ABC 00001, I have simply written, most of the times it is the program name or JCL name where this file is getting used. This may be the program name or JCL name. This may be the step name. This may be the current date. This kind of names you will generally have. This is the kind of name we generally follow. You cannot give any random name. Ravi dot something, Nandivardhan dot something. This kind of names you cannot give. You have to follow a proper naming convention. A proper discipline should be there in the project, so that by looking at the file names, job names, program names, you can understand these are all part of this application ABC. Now, same thing, same file. If you have in UAT, most likely there will be an U here. If you have in dev or testing, maybe some T. If you have in dev environment, maybe there's a D. Now, this is not fixed. I'm just giving an example. It may be the case because the file names cannot be same in, will not be same in production UAT testing environment. There will be some difference. Now, what is the difference? Only see this first thing is different. That is called a qualifier. This is a qualifier. This is a qualifier. This is a qualifier. This one is a qualifier. This one. Everything is a qualifier. Now, first one is called first qualifier, or it is also called high level qualifier. This is also called high level qualifier, or in short, it is called HLQ. Then ABC00001 is called second qualifier. Then suppose ABC20001 is third qualifier. Then step 0001 is called fourth qualifier. Then suppose this is called fifth qualifier. Now this HLQ is very important. All these are different things. HLQ is very important. So in production and UAT, generally you will have only RX, read access. That means you can only read the data of the file and you can browse the data, read access. In UAT also you will have only read access. In testing and dev, most likely you will have read write access. You can read data, you can write data, you can rename a file, you can delete a file. This file and this file, these two files you will be able to delete also, create also, write new data, edit data, view data, everything you can do because you have RW access. These two files you will have only read access because these are in production in UT. Generally, the developers don't have access. They have only view access to all the files, jobs, tables, everything. So you cannot create a file with ABC qualifier. You cannot create a file with UAC. You cannot delete a file. You cannot rename this file. You can edit data. You can only view the data. Now, who provides this? So there will be admin team. So whenever your access is raised in a project, whenever you get mainframe access, all these kind of roles are assigned to your mainframe ID. These are roles. What kind of roles you will have. So in that role, everything will be defined. Each and every company follows different standards. Okay, these kind of things will be defined. So automatically you will have this kind of accesses. Now length, maximum length of a file can be 44. File name. Maximum length of a file name can be 44. Maximum length as in 1 character, 2, 3, including dot, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So see, there are 36 or 37 I counted, right? It's not 44. It can be maximum 44, but not more than that. If you have a file name which exceeds 44, it will give a JCL error. You cannot use that file. And length of max length of each qualifier. Maximum length of each qualifier is 8. So ABC is a qualifier. Maximum I have given 3, so it's fine. But maximum can be 8. ABC 00001 is 8. It's fine. This one is also 8. This one is also 8. This one is also 8. You cannot give more than 8. It cannot be 9, 10. So before and after each dot, the thing that is there is called qualifier and can be maximum 8. So maximum length of the file name can be 44. Maximum length of each qualifier can be 8. Got it? Now, there are two ways of creating this file. So as I said, in production and UAT, we will receive the files daily on a daily basis. So you'll have daily files, you'll have weekly files, you have bi-weekly, you have monthly, quarterly, yearly, half yearly. These kind of files you'll have based on the uh, requirement that someone has worked on. And in dev and testing, you have to create yourself, right? Now next is how will you create these files or why these files are needed. Now in dev and testing, if you have to test any program, you have written a program, now you need a file to test that program. So you will have to create a file yourself. So that is manual creation. Manually you can create a file in dev and UAT and you can test your program. In prod and UAT you don't need to manually create. But in some cases inside the job there's a JCL which is running. In the JCL there is a point where we need to create an empty file, and the same empty file can is used in a different step. So that time, since the JCL runs in production automatically every day, we no one will wake up in the midnight and create an empty file every day. That's not possible, and that's not correct also. No, it's it's not possible only. So that since that process is automatic, programs are running automatically, jobs are running automatically. That time inside the job you need to write a step where it will create a file inside the job. So that is through JCL. Now both these processes are same. Through JCL, when you create, you have to write the code, and there is a program which will run, which will create. Now when you create in manually a file in the mainframe screen, so the screen in the screen you'll put the values, but when you click enter in the backend, the same program which creates a file through a JCL will run and it will create a file manually. So things are same, process is same, but manual creation is like giving the file name, all the parameters, and pressing enter. It will in the backend the job will run, it will create. And JCL is where you'll write the code, and when the JCL runs, it will create a file. So first of all, we'll learn what is manual creation, then we'll run through JCL, because when we learn how to create a file through JCL, we need to learn the JCL parameters also. Since it's a beginning, we have to learn few things in JCL like job statement, exact statement, DD statement, and all of that. Now there is one more file which is called a PDS file. Now many people get confused between PS and PDS and they think, oh, there's a huge similarity. There is no similarity only. The only similarity is both are files. What is a PDS file? PDS file as in these are called libraries. Where will you keep your codes? What kind of codes you will have in your project? JCL you will have, COBOL codes you will have, VCM JCLs you will have, CIGS programs you will have, copybooks you will have, then control cards you will have. All these are modules. All these are components. JCL is a component. So in your application, if you have 100 JCLs, where will you keep those 100 JCLs? There should be a place where you should keep the JCLs. If your program has 200 programs, where will you keep the programs? There should be a place where you need to keep those. If there are 50 vsem files, or suppose vsem JCLs where vsem files are created or vsem related programs are there, where will you keep them? CICS programs, copybooks, control cards, where will you keep them? For each and everything there should be a library. For JCL there will be a JCL library. For COBOL there should be a COBOL library. For vsem JCL there can be a vsem library, like that. Now if you have a library at home, suppose book library, okay, you have, now you will have different shelves, right? In each shelf you'll have different books. Sci-fi books, science fiction books you'll keep in one shelf, history books you'll keep in one shelf, adventurous book in one shelf, comic books in one shelf, history related, world related, politics related, each and every department you will keep the books separately. Why? Because if you keep everything mixed, all the books you keep together, then it will be very difficult for you to find a particular book. If you want to find a particular book out of 1000 books, how will you be able to find? That is why you keep a very disciplined way, keep them in a very disciplined way, so that if any day you want to find a particular book, if it's a comic book, just go to a comic section and find it. Similarly, if there is only one library where you keep everything, JCL, COBOL, VSAM, then it is very difficult to find out. And also there is some technical significance also. You cannot keep everywhere because JCL changes from environment to environment, but COBOL programs are same throughout all the environments, so you cannot anyway keep them together. But in a normal way, if you think, for each component there should be a library. So now what kind of libraries will have, what will be the names of those libraries? abc.jcl lib, that's it. Then abc dot, generally we have source lib, this kind of name. abc.vsum lib, abc.cics lib, copy lib, control lib, like that. Now, this is also a file name, just like this file name. This is also a file name, but and also here the same rule applies. Maximum length can be 44. Each qualifier cannot exceed 8. Same rule applies in these kind of cases also, but generally the PDS files or libraries have lesser length. Okay, we have this kind of names. We don't have these long names. These are only kept for PS files.